Welcome to Universal Truths, Exploring the Extraordinary, the space where healing meets mystery and the human experience unfolds in all its depth. Here, we explore the challenges that shape us, the emotions that move us, and the encounters that remind us that there's more to this world than what we see. From personal growth and inner transformation to the paranormal and the unexplained, every episode invites you to look deeper, think broader, and discover new perspectives. This is Universal Truths, Exploring the Extraordinary. Welcome back to Universal Truths, Exploring the Extraordinary. Today my co-host is my friend Sarah Beth.
Hello.
And today's episode is titled Enlightenment, Kinship. Today we will discuss enlightenment. This is defined in my book as enhanced knowledge, comprehension, and open-hearted perspectives regarding a particular topic or circumstance. It is what we become when we dissolve the ego. I would like to begin by exploring improved methods of communication with those in our lives, specifically our family, our children, partner, spouse, and other relatives. So many of us search outside ourselves for healing. We search for answers, validation, permission, or relief. Although guidance can provide support, genuine transformation starts when we reestablish a connection with our inner self and discover how to express ourselves from a place of openness rather than relying on conditioned behaviors shaped by our childhood and adolescent experiences. Enlightenment offers a compassionate approach to reconnect with others at their level. It encourages us to take a moment before we respond, to hear before we form opinions, and to pursue understanding instead of control. This allows us to recognize them as equals, each with their own challenges, just like ours. Every individual we meet carries a narrative, a set of experiences and emotional complexities that we might never completely comprehend. Our children, partners, and other family members are souls walking their own sacred paths. Their experiences, struggles, and awakenings are not meant for us to fully understand or carry for them, because they belong to their individual journey, their destiny, and their story. Even within the closet bonds, there are lessons, wounds, and growth that are theirs alone. When we release the need to control, fix, or fully comprehend their journey, we step into a higher form of love. Through open-hearted presence, gentle perception, and compassionate witnessing, we offer healing without interference. In honoring their destiny while holding space with patience and grace, we become a source of light rather than resistance, allowing love to flow freely and transformation to occur naturally, helping you to become your own cure. Open-hearted communication with ourselves and with others create clarity, healing, and self-trust. It means listening with presence instead of preparing a response. When we learn to listen without judgment, speak without fear, receive others without dismissal, and observe without attachment, something powerful happens. We begin to understand why behind our emotions, patterns, and experiences. Insight is not about bypassing pain. It's about meeting it with awareness. When we approach others with compassion, something shifts. We stop absorbing what isn't ours to carry. A significant number of our emotional patterns, triggers, defenses, and coping strategies are developed in the environments where we initially learn to connect. Ground zero, our family. The book I wrote promotes open and respectful conversations that respect boundaries while enabling the expression of truth. Enlightenment shows how stronger, more meaningful relationships are built, not by changing others, but by changing how we engage. When understanding replaces assumption and empathy replaces resistance, relationships soften, trust grows, and connection becomes safer. My book is an invitation to create peace, not only within yourself, but within your relationships and your home. To choose awareness over reaction, compassion over conflict, and understanding over emotional exhaustion. Before we get into discussing my book, I want to talk a bit outside the realm of my book about some experiences brought to my attention here recently. So let's begin exploring the extraordinary. Family communication can be among the most significant, yet almost the most difficult relationships we encounter. The experiences we have in childhood shape who we are and influence how we nurture our own children. This section encourages you to reflect on how you communicate within your home, focusing on awareness and compassion rather than blame. One of the main points in this chapter is to remember that kids aren't just kids. They are people too. They feel emotions deeply, even if they don't have words or tools to show it yet. Communicating with kids in a caring way means listening without brushing them off, guiding them without being controlling, and recognizing their feelings without downplaying them. When kids feel acknowledged and respected, they learn what emotional safety is, and that sense of safety follows them into adulthood. This chapter also looks at how partners and spouses communicate with each other. Every adult in a home has their own pressures, stressors, past experiences, and responsibilities. A lot of time, conflict isn't really about what's happening in the moment. It's about what each person is quietly dealing with. Understanding your partner's point of view doesn't mean you're justifying their actions, but it does mean you're aware that they are also dealing with their own inner struggles. Compassion and boundaries can coexist. Being understanding doesn't mean you have to give up your own needs or hide your truth. You can stand firm without being aggressive, just like you can show empathy without sacrificing yourself. This promotes clear and respectful communication, being honest while also being willing to listen. When families start to communicate with curiosity rather than just reacting, something amazing occurs. Discussion shift from being about winning to being about understanding. Emotional stress eases, and relationships start to feel safer, more supportive, and more connected. Enlightenment teaches us that improving communication within families isn't about being perfect. It's about being there for each other, having patience, and being open to seeing each other as complete individuals, each trying their best with what they have to deal with. For this next part, I'm going to hand it over to Sarah Beth.
It's extremely important to let children navigate relationship conflicts independently, as it builds vital life skills like communication, problem solving, resilience, and emotional regulation, fostering healthier future relationships, while parents should offer supportive guidance, not solutions or judgment. Validating their feelings and modeling fair fighting without inserting their own negative experiences, recognizing each child's journey is unique and needs space to grow. Here's why it is important to allow your child to work through relationship conflicts. Number 1, fosters independent problem solving and confidence. It encourages autonomy, allowing children to resolve their own disputes, shows them that you believe they are capable, which builds self-confidence and self-efficiency. Number 2, prevents helicopter parenting, which stepping in too quickly denies them the opportunity to learn how to fix mistakes, negotiate, and apologize on their own. Builds resilience, which is learning to manage hurt feelings and conflicts help children bounce back from setbacks, a critical skill for future mental health and social success. Number 3, develops essential social-emotional skills, which fosters empathy by navigating disagreements. Children learn to see things from another person's perspective and understand how their actions affect others. It also teaches compromise and negotiation skills, where kids learn that they cannot always get their way and they must find middle ground, a fundamental skill for all future relationships. It also enhances communication, which teaches children how to express their feelings, like using I statements, and to listen to others. Number 4, importance of the home environment. A safe space for practice which allows your friend into your home despite tension, provides a supervised yet safe environment to practice where they can learn to resolve conflict without it escalating into bullying or physical danger. Observation and guidance, which by allowing them to resolve issues in your home, you can observe their interactions to understand how their social strengths and challenges, providing guidance without directly dictating the outcome. Have an open door policy. While maintaining an open door policy, both literally and figuratively, helps your child feel that they can come to you for support without fear and judgment, while still trusting their ability to handle the situation. Long-term benefits. This prepares for adult relationships. It's the skills learned in childhood conflicts, compromise, forgiveness, and communication are directly transferable to adult work, social, and romantic relationships. It also reduces aggression. Children who know how to resolve disagreements peacefully are less likely to resort to aggression or bullying.
While it is important to let them work it out, parents should step in if the conflict escalates to bullying, becomes physically aggressive, or becomes emotionally damaging to either child. Forbidding a child from having a partner or friend in the home solely based on a parent's personal dislike, often shaped by past conflicts or behaviors, can be counterproductive to both a child's development and the parent-child relationship. While a parent's role is to ensure safety and well-being, this approach may unintentionally limit a child's opportunity to learn healthy conflict resolution, emotional discernment, and boundary setting within relationships. Parents must recognize that limitations imposed on their children are largely influenced by their own unresolved adult emotions. Rather than genuine safety concerns, this approach tends to create distance between the parent and child instead of offering protection. A parent's unresolved feelings regarding issues that do not directly involve them should not become a burden for the child to bear or a constraint on their freedom. Developmental perspectives emphasize that guided conversations, clear expectations, and open dialogue are more effective in supporting a child's social growth while maintaining trust and connection within the family.
Here's why this approach is generally advised against. 1. It deprives children of crucial learning opportunities. Missed conflict resolution. Disagreements are a typical and beneficial aspect of childhood growth. When you take control of the relationship, you hinder your child from acquiring the skills to resolve conflicts, reconcile, and manage intricate social interactions. They become reliant on parental guidance and anticipate being saved by them. Lack of independence. It is essential for children to learn how to select their own relationships and manage social conflicts. Excessive control restricts their capacity to develop independence and trust in their own decision-making. When a parent intervenes and shares their own past experiences, it deprives the child of their individuality and leads them to believe that the same outcome is unavoidable. Your past is not their future. 2. It often backfires. The Romeo and Juliet effect. Rebellion. Prohibiting a relationship seldom eliminates the longing for it. In reality, it frequently results in children covertly meeting that individual or escalating the situation to be a more perilous level solely due to the relationship's forbidden nature. Increased social problems. Students show the parental interference in relationships can lead to children being further ostracized by their peers, which may increase the chances of them associating with other excluded children who exhibit more serious behavioral problems. 3. It damages the parent-child relationship. Alienation. Criticizing a child's partner or friend is often perceived as a critique of the child's judgment, which can lead to defensiveness, resistance, or emotional distance to the parent-child relationship. Over time, repeated invalidation may contribute a self-doubt or internal conflict, particularly during key developmental stages. Research suggests that open dialogue and respectful communication are more effective in preserving trust and supporting emotional well-being than persistent criticism. Loss of trust. When children feel judged or unsafe sharing, they often become less open with their parents, which limits a parent's ability to offer guidance within their relationships. In response, children may seek advice from peers or other sources. While some of this guidance can be supportive, it may also lack the maturity, perspective, or safety considerations that the parent can provide, potentially increasing vulnerability during, once again, their most important developmental stages. Better approaches. Rather than a blanket ban, development experts suggest the following alternatives. Facilitate, don't dictate. Rather than imposing a blanket ban, encourage approaches that preserve connection while still supporting safety and guidance. Facilitating interactions, such as hosting a game night or visits to your home, allows parents to remain present and observant without severing important social ties. Focus on behaviors, not people. Shifting the focus from personal judgments to specific behaviors is also key. Expressing concern about actions or outcomes rather than criticizing the individual helps children feel understood rather than controlled. Ask guiding questions. Asking thoughtful, guided questions encourages children to reflect on their own experiences, develop discernment, and consider broader perspectives. Model relationships. Most importantly, modeling healthy communication and conflict resolution in everyday relationships provide children with a lived example of how to navigate challenges, set boundaries, and build respectful connections. Be the person you want your child to be.
Now, let's talk about something I mentioned last week. And it really bothers me when teen clients tell me that their parents made this comment. And it really upsetting to hear and damaging for the child. So telling a child that they are owned. It treats them as property, not individuals, damaging their self-worth, identity, and the ability to form healthy attachments, leading to issues like low resilience, anxiety, depression, and unstable relationships. Because it strips their identity, it invalidates their feelings, and it teaches them that they exist to serve the parents' wishes, not their own. So why is this damaging? Well, telling a child that you own them can be as damaging as a form of psychological slavery. Just as slavery strips individuals of their identity and freedom, framing a child as someone's property communicates that their thoughts, feelings, and choices belong to another rather than themselves. This can erode self-confidence, foster shame, and teach them that love is conditional and obedience is tied to control rather than mutual respect. Children may comply out of fear, hide their true selves, or even seek independence in secret, which undermines trust and open communication. Healthy parenting, by contrast, respects a child as a whole person, guiding, protecting, and nurturing them, while allowing them the freedom to grow, learn, and develop their own identity. It's crucial to listen to children. It builds trust, it validates their feelings, and fosters open communication. And it teaches them that their well-being matters, preventing emotional harm and improving their relationship. Dismissing their concerns with "my house, my rules" damages trust and teaches them to hide problems, while listening helps you understand their needs, respect them as individuals, and address any concerns they may have regarding hobbies, events, or activities that you engage in. It's important to remember that parents aren't the only ones who can feel anxious. Listening without judgment, children feel safe to share their feelings and concerns, knowing they won't be dismissed or criticized. Creating a foundation of trust. Listening demonstrates you respect them as individuals with valid perspectives, not just subjects of your rules. Sometimes a child's complaint about a habit is a symptom of a larger need or a way to express fear, sadness, or a desire for a healthier environment. By listening, you're not just hearing words, you're showing that you care about their well-being, which is the foundation of good parenting and a strong family, even when it means changing your own behavior for their benefit. Acknowledging their discomfort shows their experiences and emotions are valid, which is vital for their self-esteem and mental health. If they learn you won't listen, they'll stop talking, shutting down future communication and leaving you unaware of deeper issues. It teaches them how to communicate effectively and allows you to explain consequences in a way that they can understand, fostering better choices. As parents, we are our children's most important role models. Children learn from us, not only through our words, but also through our behaviors and actions that we may or may not be aware of. In order to improve communication with our children and promote their healthy social emotional development, we must be aware of our reactions. If we wish to say something to our child in order to help them change their behavior, we must be aware of how we are talking to them and what nonverbal cues we are communicating. It is important to remember that children have very well developed sensors for inauthentic messages. Parents must talk to their children when regulated and capable of managing the conversation from a place of calm. Another important issue I hear frequently from both teens and adults involves situations where an individual expresses discomfort or physical distress, and their partner responds with anger, mockery, or dismissive comparisons, telling them that they are overreacting, that they have it worse, or that they should just push through. This is even more so when their partner wants to make plans with them and they are turned down because of their partner's physical, emotional, or mental health pain. This type of behavior, often referred to as one-upping, allowing the persistent criticism or ridicule, is highly damaging to relationships. It erodes trust, undermines emotional safety, diminishes intimacy. When habitual, these behaviors are recognized by relationship experts as clear signs of contempt, which is consistently linked to long-term relational dysfunction and dissatisfaction. When a partner dismisses your discomfort, mocks your feelings, or compares your experiences to others or their own. These behaviors go beyond hurtful. They can be controlling. By invalidating your emotions and insisting that you respond correctly or minimize your struggles, they are attempting to dictate your internal experience and limit your identity. Over time, this erodes trust, emotional safety, and intimacy while fostering self-doubt and fear of expressing needs. Relationship experts recognize habitual dismissal, ridicule, and one-up behavior as signs of contempt, and when combined with controlling tendency, they create a pattern that can leave lasting emotional harm. Approaching relationships with empathy, validation, and respect for each person's experience is essential to maintain connection, safety, and mutual growth. The most destructive of the four horsemen in relationships, according to Dr. John Gottman, is contempt and can be classified as emotional abuse.
Here's a breakdown of why these behaviors are damaging. Number 1, dismissing health concerns and my illness is worse, invalidation. It signals that the partner is not cared for, understood, or respected. This destroys the secure base of the relationship, making the victim feel lonely and unsupported. Invalidation makes the receiving partner feel that their feelings and physical sensations are not real or worthy of care. This often causes them to stop sharing, leading to emotional distance. Playing the my illness is worse card turns a partnership into a competition for attention or superiority. It forces the partner with a valid, albeit perhaps smaller, concern to abandon their own needs to validate the other's pain, creating deep resentment. Chronic invalidation can lead to anxiety, depression, and a loss of self-worth as the victim begins to doubt their own perceptions of their health.
Number 2, mocking and ridicule. Mocking, using sarcasm, or mimicking a partner is the definition of contempt. It is intentionally designed to make the partner feel despised, worthless, and small. When a partner, the person meant to be the safe space, makes fun of their struggles, it causes severe emotional pain and often lasting psychological trauma, as I had mentioned before. Research suggests that high contempt couples who mock and demean each other actually suffer from more physical health issues like colds and flus due to chronic stress more than others due to weakened immune systems. Contempt is fueled by long-simmering negative thoughts about the partner, which come to a head when the perpetrator attacks the accused from a position of relative superiority.
Number 3, constant criticism. Criticism differs from a complaint because it attacks the partner's core being, like you're being selfish versus I was hurt when you didn't help. Ongoing criticism forces the partner into defensive mode, causing conflicts to escalate rather than resolve. Constant criticism kills admiration and appreciation, replacing them with a toxic environment where the victim feels that nothing they do is good enough.
According to Dr. John Gottman, who is a clinical psychologist and professor retired at the University of Washington, known for his research on relationship and marital stability, constant criticism is a major indicator of relationship breakdown and divorces. In other words, this combination of behaviors creates an unsafe environment that ruins physical and mental health. The victim may experience anxiety, depression, increased physical illness, and in severe cases, symptoms of complex PTSD due to the emotional distress. It transforms a partnership from a supportive team into a hostile environment. In my research, I came across Dr. John Gottman's 4 horsemen of the apocalypse relating to relationships, which are the 4 destructive communication patterns that predict breakups or divorce: criticism, contempt, defensiveness, and stonewalling, with contempt being the most toxic. These behaviors signal a breakdown in connection, but Gottman offers antidotes, like expressing needs gently for criticism, or taking responsibility for defensiveness, to replace them with healthier interactions and build stronger bonds. So the 4 horsemen are explained as: number 1, criticism. Attacking your partner's character or personality rather than focusing on a specific behavior, like you are so selfish instead of I felt hurt when you didn't help. The problem with criticism is that when it becomes pervasive, it paves the way for the other, far deadlier horseman to follow. It makes the victim feel assaulted, rejected, and hurt, and often causes the perpetrator and victim to fall into an escalating pattern where the first horseman reappears with a greater and greater frequency and intensity, which eventually leads to contempt. Number 2, contempt. Treating your partner with disrespect, disgust, or superiority through eye-rolling, sarcasm, name-calling, or mocking. It's the most damaging. When we communicate in this state, we are truly mean. We treat others with disrespect, mock them with sarcasm and ridicule. We call them names and mimic or use body language such as eye-rolling or scoffing. The target of contempt is made to feel despised and worthless. Number 3 is defensiveness. Blaming your partner and refusing to take responsibility for your role in the conflict. It's not my fault, you started it. It's typically a response to criticism. We've all been defensive, and the horseman is nearly omnipresent when relationships are on the rocks. When we feel unjustly accused, we fish for excuses and play the innocent victim so that our partner will back off. Unfortunately, this strategy is rarely successful. Our excuses just tell our partner that we don't take their concern seriously and that we won't take responsibility for our mistakes. The last one, stonewalling. This is withdrawing from the interaction, shutting down, or giving silent treatment, refusing to engage or respond, which is also usually a response to contempt. Stonewalling occurs when the listener simply stops responding to their partner, rather than confronting the issue with their partner. People who stonewall can make evasive maneuvers, such as turning out, turning away, acting busy, or engaging in obsessive or distracting behaviors. It takes time for the negativity created by the first 3 horsemen to become overwhelming enough that stonewalling becomes an understandable out. But when it does, it frequently becomes a bad habit. And unfortunately, stonewalling isn't easy to stop. It is a result of being psychologically flooded. And when we stonewall, we may not even be in a psychological state where we can discuss things rationally. I'm going to stop there for a second. You ever feel like that?
Mm-hmm. A lot.
Where you just got to stop and
take a breather
and regroup. Just walk away.
Mm-hmm.
I've taught my kids to do that
Good thing to do.
when they
Just
get overwhelmed.
Get your emotions in check, and just zone out, zen out, chill.
All right, so to learn more about this topic, you can go to gottman.com, blog, The 4 Horsemen, Recognizing Criticism, Contempt, Defensiveness, and Stonewalling. Don't worry, I'm going to share Dr. Gottman's link when I post this episode up on YouTube. So Dr. Gottman's 4 Horsemen behaviors are universal, meaning that they can just as easily destroy or strain bonds with children or any of our family members, our friends, co-workers, acting as major indicators of relationship breakdowns in those contexts. While behaviors are the same, the application differs based on the power dynamics and intimacy level of these relationships.
Children and the parent-child relationship. The parent-child relationship is hierarchical, not equal, putting the burden of the communication management on the parent. Criticism. Instead of "you're messy," it becomes a character attack. "You are so lazy you never pick up your toys." Then contempt. Mocking a child's tears, eye-rolling, or using sarcasm to make them feel worthless. Defensiveness. When a child complains, a parent might counterattack. "I wouldn't yell if you were listening the first time." Stonewalling. Ignoring a child or shutting down during a behavioral issue rather than addressing it.
So the second one, family members and friends, the difference. Those relationships are often long-term and close, but without the contractual everyday accountability of a marriage. With criticism, you always bail on plans, or you're so unreliable. Contempt, sarcastic comments at family gatherings or belittling a friend's career choices. Defensiveness, making excuses for bad behavior instead of owning it. "I wouldn't have to talk to you like that if you weren't so sensitive." And then stonewalling, the silent treatment, or not responding to messages for days, leaving them on red, not responding, like, at all.
That's
Isn't
so frustrating.
it all red on Snapchat?
I
You
think
leave them
so,
on red?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You see like little bubble or it's
Uh-huh.
been, yeah. And the third one, coworkers in professional settings. The difference. Workplace relationships require professionalism, but stress often makes the horsemen common, leading to toxic environments. Criticism. Attacking a colleague's work ethic rather than the project. "You're incompetent and lazy." Contempt. Rolling eyes in meetings, snarky comments about a coworker's intelligence, or superior body language. Defensiveness. shifting blame for a missed deadline to someone else to avoid accountability, stonewalling, ignoring emails, giving word-and-word answers, or closing off from team collaboration.
So given that the survival system of our body sends our brain a message that we are under attack, and when in danger, the ancient part of our brain, survival mode, which is in our brain stem, takes over and activates one of our 3 survival mechanisms: fight, flight, or freeze. In these situations, a person is not open to listening to conversation and or to problem solving, as they must remove themselves from the danger zone. The Gottman Institute advises replacing these destructive behaviors with specific antidotes to foster a healthier communication in all relationships. The antidote for criticism is a gentle startup. Complain without blame. Use I statements. Express feelings and state a positive need. For an example, I am feeling frustrated that the dishes aren't done. I need your help to sort this out. The antidote for contempt, which is appreciation. You build a culture of appreciation and respect. You acknowledge that the other person does right and express gratitude, even for small things. The antidote for defensiveness is responsibility. So take responsibility even for a small part of the problem. For example, you're right. I should have texted you. I was running late. Antidote to stonewalling, which is self-soothing. Take a break to calm down. Agree to pause the conversation. Do something self-soothing, like go for a walk and return to the topic later. For me, that's something I've always strived with my children. I've always encouraged them, even when we argue, if they just need a break, they say, look, you're overexerting me, you're overstimulating me. I just can't do this. We got to stop.
Yeah.
Because continuing to argue or continue on the subject when it becomes too much, they've already shut down.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to get anything through.
No, it just does more damage than good.
It
You're
does.
just kind of like beating the problem in the ground.
So in summary, the 4 horsemen are essentially 4 deadly ways to ruin any human connection, making the antidote, kindness, responsibility, and communication, essential for healthy families, friendships, and workplaces. Gives you something to think about.
It does.
This is a great time to go ahead, and I know Sarah Beth's been wanting to discuss the book.
Yes.
I know we've mentioned it in quite a few of our episodes. She's gone through and she's picked out some things that she wants me to read and for us to talk about. So you've read a little bit of the book. I don't think you've read the whole book. You like it so far?
I love it. I keep it by my bed at night. Got my notes in it. This is like when I need to walk away and take a break, this is some good reading for that. Puts things into perspective.
Yeah.
It does.
It was fun writing. All right, so the first section that she's picked for me, so the way that my book is done, I'm going to let you talk about that because you're the one that gave me the idea of how to separate the book.
Well, it goes into like different types of relationships, and you break them down into certain categories, and you kind of fall in line with different aspects of that. Like
how the sessions
to
are,
groups.
like how you said to do the sessions.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it's not like necessarily so much as chapters. It's like if you were coming into sessions with you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we broke it down.
Yeah.
For Enlightenment sessions.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so the first section that she picked, we're going to explain. So each one of my sessions have to do with ships. So whether it's kinship, friendship, partnership. So each session is a type of ship. A ship, as defined in my book, is a suffix used for an interaction or communication with a person that has meaning and purpose in your life. The word ship often conjures images of a sturdy vessel, crafted to carry souls, treasures, and the essence of our journeys. This vessel, forged from diverse elements, stands resilient, embodying the strength needed to support its precious cargo. Such a metaphor resonates deeply as we delve into the connections explored within these pages. Relationships that ebb and flow, providing us with fortitude and guidance. They shape our very beings as we navigate the waters of healing, from the past wounds and the trials we encounter, including the shadows of miscommunication and the veils of misunderstanding. So the first session, which is what we're going to talk about today, is titled Kinship. It's the ability to be part of a group with united ties and protection. So that's a pretty interesting session, huh?
It is. It's a good one that kind of breaks into it.
All right, so next she's labeled for me to read is the various ships that we discuss in this book that operate much like a ship. They provide the strength, protection, support, safety, connection, and guidance necessary to navigate life's challenges and address our vulnerabilities. So these concepts illustrate that our limitations are self-imposed and not dictated by external factors. Lacking these vessels, one may find oneself adrift and overwhelmed. Successfully navigating the turbulent waters of life requires a vessel that is tailored specifically to your needs.
It's like a build a ship.
Yeah. I mean, that's what we do. We talk and we go through our enlightenment and we sit and, I discuss all the modalities that we have. I find where they need the healing. And then, we develop a treatment plan of what they want to do. And they always have full control. The clients always have full control over the session. I'll text them and we'll talk about, okay, what modality do you want to do today? Sometimes we alternate. We may do Reiki in one session and then tuning forks. We may do emotion code, body code the next one. We might do a hypnotherapy session the next one, and then circle back to Reiki. So, it's
each session's unique, just like the person. That's why I love it. It's not like a cookie cutter thing,
Yeah. And even with all the tuning forks, each one of those tuning forks does something different. Not everybody's going to have the same number tuning fork or the same vibrational hertz that somebody else might.
Right.
Because our bodies are different. They require different vibrational needs. So, it's pretty cool. Let's be honest. We all carry our own unique scars and imperfections, and that is entirely acceptable. These beautifully broken aspects of ourselves contribute to our individuality. Each of us has some form of damage, whether physical, emotional, spiritual, or mental, that requires healing and release. The initial step is to be honest with yourself, prioritize your needs, and dedicate time to address what your body requires for healing. When you find it difficult to express your truth to orders, you hinder your own progress and obstruct the proper functioning of your energy centers. You agree?
Fully. I feel like because, might come in here thinking you need healing for one aspect, and after talking with you, describe something else that you didn't even know.
Yeah.
Or maybe you just don't want to admit it and you're hiding it, and, you kind of bring it out of them, and you're like, okay, I do need help with that. So.
And there's a lot of times, like I'll have a client on a table, and I'll be doing their scan with Reiki, right? Mm-hmm. And I'll be like, are you having issues here? And they're like, yeah, because we really don't talk about when they come in for their sessions what ailments are bothering them, because I like to be able to see if I can pick those up.
Right.
And a lot of times, I'll be like, hey, you've got a block here. What's going on? Do you have this or this? And a lot of times it ends up being accurate. Yeah, they've got something going on there. And they're like, well, how did you know? And they get so surprised by it, but because people don't understand how that energy works, how that energy can get built up, and so everybody's different.
It's real easy, too, to say you're so busy and you're used to putting it off, and you have one thing flares up and you forget about A, when C's, still there, too, and you just hit it.
Yep. All right, so the next session that you've marked for me, it is essential to express your truth. So when your opinion is sought, doing so in a manner that is educational and constructive. This can be a challenging situation for some people, as individuals may request feedback but react negatively when the response does not align with their expectations. You ever had that problem?
Oh, yeah. I'll ask someone, do these pants make my rear end look big? And obviously I don't want to hear that it does, but if it does, I want them to tell me. I don't want to walk around looking all goofy when, but don't be like, hey, you chunky. Tell them you might have another pair of pants. Yeah, that look better.
Be respectful.
Right.
It raises the question, how can one be upset when they specifically asked for that input? When someone provides their honest opinion as it was requested, it's met with displeasure. It seems unjust to them. You can't ask somebody something and then you expect a positive reaction all the time. Well, that's not being honest. Right. But you've already got that built up in your head. This is what you want to hear. So consequently, the next time you seek their perspective, they may choose to withhold their true thoughts, opting instead to tell you what you want to hear in order to protect your feelings, maintain the friendship, and avoid conflict. This act of loyalty can lead them to compromise their own truth, ethical standards, by resorting to dishonesty. Such a behavior can disrupt their energy balance, particularly affecting their throat chakra, simply because you were unable to accept constructive criticism. You ever thought about that?
Yeah, I have. It's like, again, going back to the pants, like, if I don't want to hear that they look bad on me, then I shouldn't be asking.
Right.
Otherwise, they're always going to tell you the right thing, and I'll be walking around looking goofy.
And we don't even understand, a lot of people don't realize that that person that you've asked for their opinion, you don't even realize that you're causing damage by them having to be dishonest.
Right.
Because
Little
they're
white
afraid to hurt
lies
your
eat
feelings.
away.
Yeah, they do. The little white lies, they weigh you down. You may think they don't, but they do. So the next part you have me reading. So you want me to read all this? Okay. So we often contribute to our own discomfort and can inadvertently create imbalances and health issues for those around us. This underscores the importance of improving our communication skills and learning to accept feedback more maturely. When we fail to engage in effective communication, others may feel compelled to suppress their true feelings and alter their identities to fit expectations of those they interact with, almost like a ripple effect. So over time, this can create a pattern where they consistently choose to conceal their opinions and resort to dishonesty, regardless of whether they are with family, friends, strangers, or colleagues. It appears somewhat self-centered, in my view, if you are unprepared for a candid response or opinion and anticipate flattery instead. It may be wise to hold off on seeking their input until you are more capable of embracing the constructive criticism and permitting them to express their truth, even if it contrasts with your own. After all, you did solicit their perspective. The truth is, you were not genuinely seeking honesty. Rather, you desired affirmation from them and a supportive friend or courteous individual. You want their feedback to align with the narrative that you have created, and it seems you expect those around you to cater to your ego, as you believe that is the role of what friends do. Such behavior may stem from unresolved issues in your past or present life, reflecting a blockage in your energy. This craving for validation and attention could also be linked to an overactive chakra. However, this does not justify your need for external approval. We should strive to be content in our own identities without requiring validation or being the focal point of attention.
Yep. If I want a compliment, I should just ask for a compliment, not ask for like a false or a little lie on a question.
Yeah.
Because too, if you do that and they get so used to it, a little white lie is going to add to a bigger lie, and you've just opened up a whole new door to a whole bunch of other problems.
Yeah, and it's not genuine. You know, you want a comment, right? That's genuine, that comes from that person, that friend, that partner, that they come to you and they just offer, the compliment,
right,
or a criticism, not one that you've asked for, because then it takes away the love aspect of it. If it's a compliment, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
You take that away from them.
And you kind of like need to take the criticism as a way to build, not let it break you down. So
Right.
You got to be open to that.
Yep. All right, so constructive criticism arises from a collaborative exchange between individuals where differing viewpoints are discussed to establish common ground, fostering an environment conducive to healing and balance. So in contrast, when opinions about you stem from malice or unfounded rumors, especially when conveyed by a third party without your solicitation, they are intended to create discord, distress, or disruption in your life. That such negativity should be disregarded, as it reflects the behavior of a bully and who does not wish you well or seeks to undermine you through falsehoods. So that's like when you hear like high school stuff, where you got people behind your back talking about you and stuff like that. I mean, I don't care what they say.
Right. If they're, unless they're a true friend, your partner or whatever, then who cares what they think?
Yeah, if it's something that you didn't solicit and they're just being mean, I mean, that's literally being a bully.
Yeah.
So, ignore that. They're purposely trying to hurt your feelings.
Right.
When you encounter negative remarks about yourself through gossip or social media, the information has likely been distorted and is circulated from person to person. So this phenomenon resembles the childhood game of telephone, where a message is whispered from one person to the next, often resulting in a final version that bears little resemblance to the original. So by the time the message reaches the last individual, it is rarely accurate. You ever play that in school?
Yes, and it always came out kind of crazy.
You always ended with something that was absolutely not what it was in the beginning.
Right.
It's like, how did you even get that word? Like, just how you wonder at times, like, too, did they purposely change that word? But
sometimes you think the kids, and the crazy thing is that type of thinking is still, present in like teenagers talking about, changing a story so much that it's just so asinine and insane.
Yeah, and they do that. they'll sit there. I know my kids have had to go through that, where somebody has said something about them and spread all these rumors that weren't true, and it just got out of hand, just to be mean.
Oh yeah.
For whatever reason, who knows? Like, one minute she's friends with somebody, and the next minute she's like, I don't know why they're mad at me.
Yeah.
And you don't even realize that somebody has spread a false rumor. It's just crazy.
It is.
How people are out there just to...
And a lot of times, too, you think it's so important and everyone's just thinking and talking about you, but the crazy thing is 5 minutes later, they've already made another rumor, another crazy story
That's
about
what I'm saying, like...
And they won't even remember it.
I mean, it just makes you wonder about people like that, though, honestly. Like, they have that much time.
I've never had that much time, so honestly, I couldn't tell you, but yeah.
All right, so the next place you marked for me. So it says, at the end of the day, do not let the judgment of others weigh upon your spirit. If someone harbors a dislike for you, they are free to feel as they do. You cannot bend another's heart to your will, nor should you feel a burden to do so. The connection between souls is simple. It either flows harmoniously or it does not. Why would you wish to engage with those whose energy is so low that it saps your vitality? Instead, seek company of radiant, loving souls who generally celebrate your existence. Like Sarah Beth.
Thank you.
Look for those who honor you, show unwavering loyalty, and uplift your spirit. The essence that I call ship, which is why I use it in my book. A being who is supportive, honest, that embodies integrity, and that offers protection. Always remember your power lies in your own actions and responses, not in the whims of others. The essence of wisdom here is to steer clear of the whispers and tales that often twist the truth, for they are colored by personal bias and the desire for drama. You like what I do with the ship?
I do like what you do with the ship. Even on a bad day when I'm hurting, I just think, oh, ship.
Yep. So Helen Mirren, she once said, before you argue with someone, ask yourself, is that person even mentally mature enough to grasp the concept of a different perspective?
Nope.
Because if not, there's absolutely no point. That's awesome. Like, I sit there and think that when I'm about to have a conversation with somebody, I just sit there and I'm like, no.
Is it worth it? And do I have the energy or mental capacity to even try?
Right. Do they even have the mental capacity to understand what I'm about to say?
Yeah, most of the time, no. It's just not working. Go home and eat a snack. Just save the time.
And not only that, if you have your partner, right, comes home from work, or if you're in high school and your boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, right, you have to understand too that your partners, your friends, everybody's tired too from whatever day that they had. You think they really want to get in a discussion when they first get home?
Nope.
I know I wouldn't. I don't want to sit there and burden my husband with this huge blah, 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 blah when he gets home from work, because that is the last thing he wants.
Right.
I have tried, though, a couple of times, and he just looks at me like, really? He is literally not mentally capable at that moment to listen to me. Because I can ramble.
Yep.
All right.
Pick and choose your battles.
That's what I'm saying, right? As we proceed through this book, we're going to explore the various ships and delve into the effective communication strategies by examining the diverse perspectives and points of views of those we encounter daily. We can uncover valuable lessons. I trust that the upcoming sessions will assist you in navigating life with a more open-minded and positive outlook. My intention in writing this book is to foster a deeper understanding of our unique differences and the natural variations in opinion that arises from them. The way we engage with and manage these differences is crucial for our overall health and our well-being. I aim to help reshape your current way of thinking, moving away from generations of ignorance, lack of empathy, and a reluctance to change, traits that our ancestors may not have recognized or addressed. When I refer to ignorance, I do so not in derogatory sense, but rather to highlight a lack of education regarding ethical behavior towards others. So often situations are not as they seem. Your initial perception can be misleading. We may become overly anxious and overanalyze circumstances, but with open dialogue, patience, and calmness, we can discover that we may have misinterpreted the situation or received inaccurate information. I too have experienced the pitfalls of overthinking and challenge shared by many of my clients, friends, and family.
Meaning me?
A lot of them.
All
Everybody
the time.
overthinks. I don't think it's just, I don't think there's not one person out there that can say, I don't overthink.
Mm-hmm.
We all do that. I think that's a human response.
It
is
is.
to overthink. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So it's like, if you have someone out there who says, oh, I don't do that, are you being truthful? Should we go back into the book and talk about dishonesty?
Right. Exactly.
But, you know, it is. When you have somebody that's just overly anxious, right?
Mm-hmm.
An example, you're expecting a phone call from somebody,
Mm-hmm.
and that person hasn't called you. Say a significant other, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you overthink it, and you're like, well, they just didn't want to talk to me, or this or that, or they must be mad at me, or whatever. That is literally nothing at all with the actual reality of what's going on.
Right. They're probably just super busy, and they're trying to go call you when they can, but they've got other things that come up, you know?
Yep. I mean, I've done that with you. She must not like me no more. I've texted her like 3 days ago. Like, she is not texting me back. And then I sit there and I overanalyze my last 3 days. What did I say to her last we talked? Let me go back through the text messages. Let me play back our recordings of our conversations. No, I didn't. Okay, so she must just, I don't know. She got something going on. And it usually is. Like, you've got personal stuff right now going on in your life.
Taking care of my dad and everything, and work's been crazy.
Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I sure will. I'll tell him, I'm like, no, she's. So I go back and tell him, oh, she just had a bunch of stuff going on. I finally got in touch with her. He was like, yeah, and you thought it was about you. You know.
He'll send me a text, are you mad at me? And I'm thinking, what did I say? Like, then I'll start overthinking or something.
And then I'm like, I texted you like days ago. Oh. I think sometimes you've even said, I thought I texted you back.
Yep. It is. A lot of times I'll text something, but I don't hit send, and it'll just sit there, and then like I will text you and you get like 3 messages. Yeah.
I have done that.
Or they don't even make sense.
And see, it's nothing like what you think.
Mm-hmm.
That person, thinks that they've texted you back, and you're still waiting for that text, and neither of you have any clue what's going on.
Nope. Mm-mm. You're making problems in your head that aren't even there.
That's what I'm saying. And so everybody gets stressed out. Everybody overreacts over all you need to do is talk.
Yep.
Talk it out.
Mm-hmm.
So we're human too.
Yep.
So we are in, just so everybody knows, in my book, we are under the kinship session. And so the next part she has marked is under the child area. So it says, effective communication plays a vital role in a child's development, involving not only their ability to share, but their thoughts, but also to comprehend the perspectives of others. Some children may find that this is challenging due to feelings of shyness, anxiety about expressing their emotions and ideas. If parents struggle with communication themselves, their children may adopt similar ineffective habits. Although one might think that the rise of technology and streaming services has made communication easier since the 1990s, the truth is more nuanced. Even with a wealth of digital resources, children's mental process have not changed. They still yearn for validation and acceptance from peers and family, often feeling the weight of expectations, which can be quite burdensome. I think the expectations even more so now.
Mm-hmm.
Even with all the social media and everything, I think the need for validation is even more so than what it ever used to be because of social media.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think kids and even adults actually, they see all these people on social media or TikTok or whatever, and they're like, well, I can do that, or I want to do that, and then you're trying to change who you're supposed to be.
Mm-hmm. Your image and everything, and so many people have like a fake persona online, and then have to keep that up, constant posts, the likes and everything, and it's a lot. I mean, you think maybe just even 20, 30 years ago when there wasn't any social media, you just had the pressure of like your peers from school or, your neighborhood kids or whatever. Now you've got millions of people all across the U.S. you're trying to impress for what? And you don't even know them.
Right. You remember the day where we had to memorize our own telephone numbers? We did not have cell phones.
Nope.
And I did. I knew all my friends' phone numbers by heart.
Oh, yeah. It is.
I couldn't tell you not one number of my telephone.
Mm-mm.
Maybe my parents'. What's bad, I don't even know my kids' phone numbers. Isn't that bad?
I know the last 4 with my daughters.
That's how I'm with mine. I'm like, okay, I know it's this, 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 and this. And they're like...
I know the area code in the last 4.
But now I can tell you my parents' phone numbers inside and out.
Yep.
Isn't that crazy? All right, so children are naturally perceptive and often experience emotions with greater intensity than adults. They can become overwhelmed by constant demands and the pressure of various responsibilities. So parents should consider their child's daily experiences before criticizing them for the unfinished chores and tasks. A child balances school, sports, clubs, and possibly even a job, and they may feel just as drained as an adult after a long workday. The additional burden of homework can further interfere with their sleep, creating a cycle of exhaustion. Parents also encounter their own set of challenges, including unexpected issues like illness. While it is crucial to guide children toward independence, it is equally important to acknowledge their limits and pressures that they face. I think we lose sight of that as parents.
Easily.
You know, we want them to come home from work or come home from school and, hey, you got to do this or hey, you got to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Not realizing, like, okay, they've just gone through this entire day of work at school, just like we have our entire day of work, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then we expect them to do all these chores. Then we expect them to do homework, so more school.
Mm-hmm.
If they've got sports or extracurricular activities after school, clubs, mm-hmm. whatever, and then a job.
Right.
When we come home from work, we want to relax, but we have dinner, laundry. You know, we have just as much as our children.
Right.
And so I try to tell my families to do a chart, you mm-hmm. know, to even out the chores. Everybody in the house, everybody lives in that house, mm-hmm. not just the child. Everybody should be participating in the chores. Mm-hmm. You know, my kids have learned how to do their laundry since they were 5 years old. Mm-hmm. Fold, wash, dry, put away, all of it, you know. They've known how to do dishes.
Right.
So, but we all participate. Mm-hmm. You know, we all take turns with chores. And if I see that my daughter's having a bad day, I'll do her time to take out the dogs, or, you know, because I have to realize that she's tired. She's she's exhausted from her hard day at school or work or whatever they did. They have PE at school. Like, what did they do?
Yeah.
You know, we don't
it's
have
a trade-off.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
It is. And I think we all have to equally have chores in the house, not just the children.
Right.
It's not how we were when we grew up, you know. Mm-hmm. We have to at some point we have to stop and change.
Right. It is. It's, you know, you got to consider both people's perspective and what they're going through. But yeah, no, it's a give and take.
Yep. No, but for real though, it is a big issue, and I've had a lot of my teenage clients complain about that. But for them, like, their parents just didn't do anything. Like, their parents came home from work and that was it. Mm-hmm. You know, where these kids went to school all day, they have their clubs, they had sports, they have work, they have all this stuff they've got to do, and then you want them to come home and cook dinner, do their other chores, mm-hmm. do the household laundry, not their laundry, everybody's laundry.
Right.
You know, all right, well then what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
That's not fair.
A lot of them have the adult responsibilities, but without the praise or whatever.
Yeah.
You know.
And they're like, well, why do you think we even had children? Huh, they are not your slaves.
Right.
Like, we didn't have children to be our slaves.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want my grandchildren treated that way. So at some point it's got to stop.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so the next part you have marked is, while actions may be forgiven over time, the emotional scars that they leave behind are not easily forgotten or erased. This issue often arises among teenagers and adults. It can begin as early as middle school. Children are particularly susceptible to manipulation due to their lack of life experience and understanding of the harsh realities of cruelty and deceit. Their limited history makes them more trusting and eager to fit in. Therefore, it is crucial to maintain open lines of communication with young children to protect them from the influences. What I mean by that, like, we fail to understand, like, we expect a lot out of our kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
But man, they haven't even gone through life yet.
Right.
They haven't experienced the stuff that we've experienced, but we want them to do these tasks and act this way and behave this way. They don't even have any of that insight yet.
Mm-mm. Not maturity or, yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So it's like we put so much on our children, not understanding they don't even have that history yet.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Sometimes it's hard to let them just be kids.
Right.
And grow.
It is. It is. Because I think we get lost in how we were raised.
Yeah.
You know, and like I said, it goes back to cutting that cycle. At some point, someone's got to say that's enough.
Mm-hmm. I mean, times are different, have changed and everything, and it's not, 20, 30 years ago. Mm-mm. Oh, it's hard saying that.
I know. So we must educate our children about the dangers that they may encounter and reassure them that they can share anything with their parents without fear of repercussions. So, building trust with children is essential, as their honesty can be more valuable than the lessons learned through punishment. And I'm sure people will get tired of me talking about the parent-child relationship, but it is so important.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we are literally helping the next generation.
Right.
So why not do it the right way?
Exactly.
Why not do it with compassion and love and understanding and see them for who they are, not how we were treated?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, someone's got to speak.
Said it right. Right.
I always assured my children that if they were truthful, they would not face consequences. However, this promise applied only to their first attempt of honesty. If I had to ask again, that assurance would no longer stand. Thus, I would inquire once, and if they were truthful and I could confirm their account, they would face no punishment, only a constructive decision about making better choices. Maintaining integrity as a parent is crucial. It fosters respect and trust, creating a reliable foundation for children. If a child is dishonest initially, I would inquire again. And if I was aware of the truth and they still did not disclose it, they would face appropriate consequences for their actions. Should they choose to be honest on a subsequent occasion, they would still receive a punishment, but I would clarify that they had the opportunity to be truthful. If they opted to lie again, they must accept the repercussions, understanding that being truthful from the start would have spared them from punishment. Establishing trust is essential for children to feel comfortable sharing their thoughts and feelings with their parents. In cases where physical discipline is employed, some children may hesitate to communicate with their parents due to fear and consequences. Did you ever do that?
A couple times, and I have to catch myself and come back and, explain to her, like, I'm sorry, I got ahead of myself, and, you tell me what's going on, or, you can talk to me about your problems, and, now we have a really good open communication. She calls me numerous times a day, so.
Yeah, she called you right before this.
Yes.
We were messing with her.
She loves me.
But, I know for my kids, I've always tried to instill, since they were little, even my 30-year-old, just be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to ask you the one time, be honest with me this first time. You're not going to get in trouble. We will talk it out and discuss, what had happened and how you could have handled it better.
Mm-hmm.
But if I have to ask you a second time, and you still, and I know the truth, and you still are not honest with me, you are me in some trouble.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You're going to lose a few things,
Right. You ain't coming out of that hole.
and they have, I've kept my word. They've been honest with me in the beginning. And I said, okay, why did you think that was okay? We discussed it. We move forward, and they don't get in trouble, and that's forming trust.
Right.
And my children can talk to me. They come to me all the time. They'll call me. You saw my daughter called me before we got started too, and was talking to me about something she had going on. And so, it's just, you have to have that bond, because you want your grandchildren to have those bonds. You want that cycle to start now, to where all of this, that how we were raised by our parents who are broken. I mean, we're all broken. Everybody's broken.
Mm-hmm.
There's no perfection. I don't want to be perfect, because then if I'm perfect, then I ain't got nothing left to learn.
Boring.
That's what I'm saying. That's boring. I like learning.
Yeah. I'm a nerd.
All right, so the next part you have is, it is important to feel comfortable saying no to our children. I do not have a problem with saying no.
It's like
I know you don't.
It's magic. You just say it and,
no. And then I get, why not?
Because I said so.
Overextending ourselves to meet their every demand can convey the message that they are entitled to whatever they desire, regardless of the consequences. This mindset can become ingrained in their character, affecting their future relationships and leading them to expect similar sacrifices from others. Such expectations can complicate their transition into adulthood, as they may struggle to understand that the real world operates differently. While a child may find themselves in a fortunate situation, such as marrying someone wealthy, this can perpetuate a cycle of materialistic expectations that they may then pass on to their own children. Distorted perception of reality can ultimately hinder their success as adults, as they may anticipate the same level of sacrifice from those around them. You agree?
I agree.
I don't think a child should be given everything.
Mm-mm.
I mean, you have to say no.
Otherwise, they don't learn value on anything.
Nothing. They don't. They just, and they don't only expect it from you as the parent, going into a relationship, like I said, or even a friendship, they begin to ask their friends for stuff and expect it to be given.
Yep.
That's not reality.
Mm-mm.
And that's not fair for
It's
you
not.
to have that type of mentality either. Because not all friends have income. So the next part is, for young individuals transitioning into adulthood, it is essential to truly grasp the value the experiences they had within their community. This requires parents to sever the protective ties and allow their children this freedom to navigate their own paths, trusting that they have absorbed valuable lessons from their upbringing. They need to make mistakes associated with the wrong influences and confront the consequences of their own deceptions. So while this journey can be bewildering, sometimes one must experience loss to fully appreciate what they once had and strive to reclaim it. Learning to seek forgiveness is a crucial skill, albeit a challenging one. Many adults shy away from this, making it even more daunting for adolescents who often fear rejection due to their vulnerable circumstances. What do you have to say about that?
It's true. I always picture, was it Willy Wonka, what's her name? Bianca, I want it now.
All right, so I think those are all the places that you marked for me. The other sessions that we've got in the book is friendship, partnership, employeeship, socialship, disabledship, mediumship, and clientship. Friendship is an action of showing support and making connections. Partnership is a state of unity. It's a unified bond built on a solid foundation of love, trust, stability, safety, and healthy communication. Employeeship is the status of being employed in a workplace environment that provides guidance, direction, and teaches meaning of teamwork. Socialship is the ability to adapt and survive in unfamiliar places with unfamiliar people. Disabledship, condition in which the body can become physically or mentally limited by emotional limitations caused by oneself and not limitations based on our divine design. Mediumship is a connection with spirits to channel messages for the healing purposes of an individual and spirit, and clientship is the condition of a client, a state of being protected with confidentiality.
That can be confused with holyship, the act of disbelief of what was said or seen.
Yeah. So what do you think about this book?
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
It's great for helping you work through issues, and it relates to everybody. I mean, there's part of it, whether you're a teenager, senior,
I tried
all
to
aspects
write it.
Of life.
Yeah, I tried to write it, as if we were talking in a session.
It is.
There's not a lot of big words in there, because I want my teenage clientele to be able to understand it, and I even have some of my clients who are 11, 12 years old, who are reading it, because why not start now to learn how to talk to somebody?
Right.
To learn how to understand somebody else's perspective and not just like gun-ho and just assume everybody should agree with you all the time.
Right.
Because I don't have all the answers. And that's one of the things in this book that I say is for you to read the book, but also do your own research. I mean, I don't know everything.
Well, that's one thing I love about the book is in each shift that you're talking about, you have different perspectives. You have your perspective and your views, but you also have, a different person.
Yeah.
It's not just like my way, this is it.
Right. Yeah, even when we go into the one about working, employeeship, it talks about, how to handle yourself at your employer's place. Like, I know a lot of kids have issues with their bosses, or coworkers or whatever, and this allows you to see things from different points of view and how to carry yourself in your workplace. Teenagers, when they go into their first job, don't get a lot of guidance from their parents on how you should behave at your job. No, you're not going to like your boss probably.
Right.
Probably not going to get along with your coworkers, but that's not what it's about. It's about you learning skills, about you becoming independent, not making friends.
Oh, yeah, and you talk about that in the book, too, about professionalism and how to handle certain situations, emotional.
Yep.
And everything. So, yeah, I mean, it relates to anybody in multiple situations.
All right, so here's the disclaimer from my book, just so everybody knows, since we've talked about it and we've gone over some other stuff. I hope that the book serves as a source of insight, yet it may not resonate with every soul or fit every unique situation. It is vital to embark on your own quest for knowledge and trust your inner wisdom. I do not hold any formal credentials in the realms of health or mental health profession. It is crucial to recognize that the services and alternative practices presented by my business, Universal Works of Healing, are designed to harmonize with and uplift the healing journey provided by conventional medicine, treatment plans, or mental health support that you may be receiving. I encourage you to seek the counsel of your healthcare provider, whether a physician, psychiatrist, psychologist, or therapist, before delving into alternative healing paths, ensuring that their support for the methods that you wish to explore and the insights shared within these pages. My practice and guidance are not intended to replace the essential care provided by medical or mental health professionals. The reflections within this book are drawn from my personal experiences, as well as the shared stories and wisdom of clients, family, friends, and the younger souls around me who are my children's friends. I am not a doctor. I am an alternative healing practitioner, and please do not confuse the two professions. In healing, traditional medical practitioners often direct their energies toward the manifestation of symptoms. Their interventions are designed to alleviate or eradicate diseases and ailments, drawing upon their extensive medical education and specialized training in various fields. This includes the diverse array of professionals, such as your pediatricians, cardiologists, your oncologists, obstetricians, and so on. When health challenges affect multiple systems within the body, these specialists may unite their efforts to manage symptoms or address the underlying conditions. This conventional methodology is frequently perceived as reactive, focusing on immediate concerns rather than fostering prevention. Conversely, holistic medicine and alternative healing embrace a more expansive view of health and wellness. Practitioners in this domain operate beyond the confines of traditional medical practices, perceiving the body as an interconnected whole. Their mission is to uncover the fundamental causes of dis-ease, rather than simply treating the surface level symptoms. The essence of holism lies in the belief that the mind, body, and spirit must be nurtured in harmony to attain genuine healing. Rather than isolating treatment to a singular ailment, holistic practitioners recognize that imbalance within the mind, body, spirit triad can lead to illness and injury. They understand that disharmony is one area that can resonate throughout the entire being, emphasizing the importance of addressing the individual as a complete entity. It's vital to seek the right support and to find a safe path away from such toxic environments that we put ourselves in.
Mm-hmm.
Do your own research, like I did. Find what works for you. And I may not be what works for you. Like in the book, when it comes to mediumship, I say in there, and I've mentioned it before on the podcast, don't look to me as a medium for just I want to make a connection. No,
Yeah, it doesn't work that way.
Nope.
Mm-mm.
Mine's for healing purposes. Mine's to bring closure to you or to your family members who have passed on and need that closure with you,
Mm-hmm.
Or if you're worried about them, you need that closure.
Yeah.
That's what my medium stuff's about.
And not for entertainment.
There's plenty of those type of mediums out there. I'm good.
Yep.
All right, so I just want to thank everybody for being here with me and Sarah Beth. Please visit my website, universalworksofhealing.org, and submit your stories, questions, and your curiosities, because your experiences may shape a future episode or help others to understand that they are not alone in what they are feeling or experiencing. Make sure to pick up a copy of Enlightenment, Helping You Be Your Own Cure Through Open-Hearted Communication and Insight, which is available on Amazon.com. I'm Jennifer, and thank you, Sarah Beth, for joining me.
You're welcome.
And this has been Universal Truths, Exploring the Extraordinary. Until next time, stay curious, stay grounded, and stay open to the extraordinary.